Top of the morning, everybody. Welcome to a brand new day. Yep, so we did our poll yesterday, put the poll up last night, trying to determine which one we should do first between the best Larry Bird and Michael Jordan story ever told, or the Magic Johnson and Larry Bird courtship of rivals. And last night it was looking like the courtship of rivals one was going to be winning. To be honest, it was 4 votes to nothing. Checking it now, 57% said the best Larry Bird and Michael Jordan story ever. The best Larry Bird and Michael Jordan story ever told. Sorry. And 43% said Magic Johnson and Larry Bird courtship of rivals. So the winner is best Larry Bird, Michael Jordan story ever told. But don't worry about that. We're doing them both today. Anyways, doesn't matter. Just guess we're gonna put the best Larry Bird and Michael Jordan story ever told out first. So let's cut the chat. Let's hop right into it, shall we?
NBA Hall of Famer James Worthy, who played against both Michael Jordan and Larry Bird, said, "I'd much rather play against Michael Jordan than Larry Bird. Jordan made you look slow, but Bird made you look stupid. Look,
That's pretty interesting comment. Jordan made you look slow, Bird made you look stupid. I like that. There's actually another quote speaking on these two. Actually, you know what? I'm not even gonna say it. I've heard another one, a really good one, that one of the old coaches said. I want to say it was Pat Riley, actually. Yeah, I don't know. We'll wait and see, because they might say it in here.
Made you look stupid. Look, I'm not here to convince you that Larry Bird is better than Michael Jordan. I'll just present to you the facts and let the NBA legends who actually played against both of them tell you what they think."
People always ask me who's the hardest player I've ever had to guard. And there was Michael Jordan, George Gervin, the late, great Mike Mitchell. I mean, so many players. I always say Larry Bird. And I say this for the reason because when Michael passed the basketball, he kind of hung on his shorts and he sit off to the side. With Larry, when he passed the basketball is when he became more dangerous. He was either setting a pick, coming off a pick, catching the ball, passing the ball. So he was the one you always had to stay attentive to the whole 24 seconds of that offensive play for the Celtics. And you know what? Oh, he's going to get an offensive rebound. He was going to do something to help his team have the best chance of scoring at that point. So I always say as him, he didn't need the basketball to affect the game.
To the untrained eye, Michael Jordan was light years better than Larry Bird, simply because his scoring numbers were better.
See them breakaways?
But in actuality, it was much closer than that because Bird affected the game in so many ways.
I saw Larry Bird one night in Phoenix. They were losing big time at the half. And they come out in the third quarter, and Larry did not take a shot, but dominated the game. He had 7 assists in the third quarter, and they came back and won the game. He could affect the game without taking a shot. Who else can you say that about?
7 assists in 1 quarter? That's a lot. 7 assists in a quarter is a lot. 7 assists in a game is a lot. Nowadays, when we're talking assists, when people, for example, people that know sports, that bet, to bet somebody for 7+ assists in a game, that's a gamble. That's a hell of a gamble. Because not many people are going to get over that. Once in a while you do. Sometimes, but to have that many assists in 1 quarter, that's insane.
Back and won the game. He could affect the game without taking a shot. Who else can you say that about to that degree? Nobody. Michael could never do that. Never. Michael had to have the ball.
Here's a 1986 magazine on the NBA.
Bird looks so happy.
This is a league with Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Charles Barkley, Isaiah Thomas, Hakeem Olajuwon, Moses Malone, and Dr. J. And in a league with all of these all-time great players, everyone agreed that Larry Bird was the best. because in 1984,
To have all those greats that they just showed saying that Larry Bird's the best, that says a lot. Kind of want to do I wonder if they made a mixtape on Isaiah Thomas. I bet you he's got a decent highlight reel.
1985 and 1986, Larry Bird won MVP back to back to back. And in the 1986 playoffs, Larry Bird finally...
Well, they got to make him look like a whole female. Tell me he ain't looking like a whole woman. Come on, man.
Back.
Doing
and in
Bird
the
like that.
1986 playoffs, Larry Bird finally faced Michael Jordan head-to-head. And in Game 1, Michael dropped a spectacular 49 points. But Larry Bird had an all-around game with 30 points, 8 assists, 6 rebounds, and 3 steals to lead the Celtics to a victory. By Game 2, MJ had a revelation.
And this is Game 2 of the best-of-5 first-round action, and the Celtics will try to make it 2 in a row over the Bulls.
We really have to play a complete basketball game. I don't think one man can beat the Boston Celtics.
But he sure did try, because Jordan turned on God mode and broke the record for the most points ever scored in a playoff game.
Lead in the first half of the game against the Celtics Thursday. Jordan trying to fake Bird, can't do it. Hits the jumper, but Bird played pretty well defensively against Jordan.
I know we started Dennis Johnson out on him, and then we went with Danny Ainge, myself, then Bill Walton, and we was trying to run him to help all the time, but he had his outside shot going so well that he really didn't need to penetrate that much.
Jordan hits it, 56 for Jordan, and that ties the Chicago Bulls all-time leader. Jordan with 8 on the clock. Jordan ties the game.
Oh, boy.
63 points, and you're looking at an all-time record.
Oh, boy.
Michael Jordan.
But it was an incredible playoff performance. I've never seen it before, and I had never seen it after. That wasn't Michael Jordan out there. It was God disguised as Michael Jordan.
But Larry Bird left with the most important statistic of all, the W.
10 on the clock.
It's the one that matters.
Bird, pick and roll parry. Victory for the Boston Celtics to take a 2-0 lead over Chicago in their best-of-5.
Michael Jordan didn't beat Larry Bird. You showed Michael Jordan going between his legs one time in the highlights, against Larry Bird. And that was the game he got 63.
That's when he dropped 63 on Bird. Yes.
But if memory serves me correct,
63 in a game, in a playoff game. They said that's the most ever scored in a playoff game. I wonder how much the most scored in a game period is. Like, just any game. It'd be interesting to look up and see. Actually, you know what? Where's my phone? I'm going to check that real quick. Wilt Chamberlain, March 2nd, 1962. Wilt Chamberlain set the NBA's single game scoring record with 100 points in the Philadelphia Warriors' 169-147 win over the New York Knicks. NBA didn't add the three-point line until 1979, making this performance even more remarkable. Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, Wilt Chamberlain was a beast too. I think he's considered like one of the all-time, greats as well. But you don't hear about him as much these days. Everything's Magic, Jordan, LeBron, Bird, like all them guys. Wilt Chamberlain, though, he set the route for basketball. He really did, in my opinion. But 100 points in a game, that's crazy. That's crazy. And boy, when they started dropping them threes, they put that three-point line in 1979. After that, Bird started dropping some threes, didn't he? Yeah, he did.
Times in the highlights, against Larry Bird. And that was the game he got 63.
That's when he dropped 63 on Bird. Yes.
But if memory serves me correct, they got swept. No, not lost. They got swept. Okay?
That's true.
Even though he dropped 63, we stepped all in his ass, did we not? I rest my case.
Larry Bird went on to win his third championship that year. And the following year, when Larry faced MJ in the playoffs, it happened again.
Side. Larry Bird against Banks, rubs him around a Perry screen, drives it down the lane, and lays it in with a right hand. Michael Jordan with 30 points in this game, so he was 30 or better in all three playoff games. Bird's got 31 in the game and 14 in the fourth quarter. Bullseye. Boston has kept it in good hands in the fourth quarter. It's been Bird, and that's about it. Final score in Chicago Stadium. The Boston Celtics sweep the Bulls out 105-94. Too much Celtic talent, too much Celtic experience for a Bulls team lacking in both areas.
Yes, Larry Bird in back-to-back years swept Michael Jordan.
What the hell happened to his neck? You guys see that?
Larry Bird in
Yeah, he got some scratches on his neck. Somebody scratched the Bird, man.
back-to-back years swept Michael Jordan in the playoffs. So if Michael Jordan is the greatest of all time, but Michael Jordan never beat Larry Bird, then what does that make Larry Bird?
Yeah.
Now, to be fair, at that point, Michael Jordan didn't have his best teammate ever, Scottie Pippen, yet. When Scottie Pippen arrived, the battles were closer and more intense.
I'll tell you what. Talk about a dynamic duo. Scottie Pippen and Jordan. Them two were two of the best defenders ever on the same team. And I'm pretty sure Bird's still stunting on him. I think he did. But yeah, no, those two were a pair, man.
And later in the video, I'll let you see exactly what happened when Larry Bird faced a prime Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. Because Larry Bird did something so miraculously impressive, no other man in the history of basketball can say they've done. But after Bird swept Jordan back-to-back years in the playoffs,
look at his face.
That very next year in 1988, Michael Jordan had statistically the best season ever, where he won the scoring title at 35 points per game, the steals title, the MVP, the defensive player of the year, the All-Star Game MVP, and the dunk contest. He faced
that. Yeah, talk about an accomplishment. That's wild.
The year, the All-Star Game MVP, and the dunk contest.
Look at that. Look at that season. That. How many other people have done that? MVP, scoring title, All-Star Game MVP, DPOY. I'm blanking on what that is. Steals title, dunk title. Dunk title, should have known. That, talk about a season, man.
He faced Larry Bird 4 times that year, and this is how it went. Game 1, tough battle, Bird wins. Game 2, MJ has a historic 50-point game to win by 10. Game 3, Larry's revenge. After that previous loss, I'm sure Larry Bird had that rematch circled on his calendar.
I'm gonna say they went 2-2.
Because he ended up with 33, 8, and 7 and blew MJ out by 30 points. Game 4.
Wow.
MJ had an impressive performance with 39 points and 8 assists, but Larry Legend had 44 points and 10 rebounds, but most importantly, a win versus Michael Jordan in his statistically best season ever.
Guess I was
and
wrong.
Though Michael Jordan didn't face Bird again that year in the playoffs, Jordan did face Isaiah Thomas and the Detroit Pistons. And I'll let Isaiah Thomas tell you exactly how he recalls that year and the rest of the 80s.
So Michael Jordan in the 80s, the best year that he had was he was the MVP of the league and the defensive player of the year. I believe that was in 88.
Yes.
We
88.
beat them 4-1. I'm gonna say that again. 4-1. They won one
May I
game,
respond?
Stephen A. And he never beat Larry Bird. He never beat Magic and Kareem. He never won. And all I'm saying is in the 80s, what I remember in the 80s, it was Philadelphia with Dr. J, Magic, Kareem, Bird.
Thomas had that. Thomas had that Steve Urkel look on his face when he took that ball from Jordan, like, did I do that? Tell me you didn't.
It was Philadelphia with Dr. J, Magic, Kareem, Bert, Michael Jordan. He was a non-factor.
A non-factor. Is this your GOAT? But after Isaiah Thomas swept MJ, he did go on to beat Larry Bird in 6 games. And many people touted the Detroit defense for holding Larry Bird to under 20 points per game. But what many don't include in that story is that Larry Bird was noticeably injured with painful bone spurs in both feet.
Oh.
So only because of injuries, for the first time in 5 seasons, Larry Bird would not make the NBA Finals. Starting the following year, Larry Bird had season-ending surgery on both feet after playing only 6 games.
Man.
But sadly, it only got worse because that following offseason, Larry Bird broke his back and was never the same again. But even as...
Man, that's tough. He came down kind of like Chet Holmgren. You guys remember back at the beginning of this season, Chet from Oklahoma City Thunder, I forget who they were playing against, but he clashed with somebody and he came down on his hip, on his right side of his hip, and broke his right hip bone. That's why he's been out all season.
Larry Bird's entire body betrayed him, for some reason, he always played well against Michael Jordan, almost like he had a personal vendetta against Jordan. And I think I know why. When Michael Jordan was in college, he actually played an exhibition game against Larry Bird. Jordan and a bunch of college players, while preparing for the 1984 Olympics, faced Larry Bird and a bunch of NBA stars. The goal was to toughen the college kids up before they headed to the Olympics. So during pregame warm-ups, when Jordan chased a loose ball to the other end of the court, Larry Bird picked the ball up. But instead of handing it to Jordan, Bird kicked the ball over Jordan's head to the opposite end of the court. And I guess you could say Michael Jordan took that personally.
I bet he did.
Now look at my... Really? Oh, so that's how you're going to play it. You going to do this? Okay, fine.
Now, tell me, does this man ever really age? I mean, all the other basketball players, all the old greats, all the ones they show in these videos, they show them now, and they're all, you know, look at Bird, for example. Kareem, you know, Thomas, all them, they all have aged a lot, quite a bit. Man, Jordan still pretty much looks the same. Except he looks like he's a little bulkier, a little beefier. Looks like he's been maybe working out or something, but, you know, maybe, I don't know. Yeah, it's like he stays looking the same, man.
That's all I needed. That's all I needed for him to do that. And it became personal with me.
Michael Jordan dominated that game. A young Michael Jordan actually carried a team full of college players past a prime Larry Bird and a bunch of NBA players. Michael Jordan won the battle.
Wow.
But Larry Bird won the war. I think Larry Bird took that loss personally because Jordan never really got the best of Larry Bird ever again. When Larry Bird finally returned to the court after missing basically an entire season with foot surgery and a back injury, he faced prime Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen in a regular season game. The teams went back and forth.
Bagley against Paxson, 10 on the shot clock. Jordan on Bird. Quick feed into Jim Paxson for the layup. Larry Bird has KO'd the read. Jordan the steal. Scottie Pippen ahead to Jordan. Michael for the dunk. Bird against Pippen. Bird working on Pippen one-on-one. Hits the fadeaway.
And with 10 seconds to go, it was a tie game. The Celtics had the ball, and the Bulls put their two best defenders, Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, both on Larry Bird because everyone knows who the ball is going to. And then this happened.
Let's see if they wind it all the way down. Inside of 10 seconds. Bird low. You can't double yet. Now you can quickly. Bird's jumper, good. 3.6 seconds left. Larry Bird gives the Boston Celtics a 2-point lead.
Everybody in this building had to know it was going to. Michael came over to help out. Celtics lead with 3.6 seconds.
That's what I'm talking about. I knew he got the one up on him. I knew there was at least one time both Pippen and Jordan were on this dude. And he still got the jumper right in their face. Shot it right in their face. I don't think anybody else ever got to do that. Not with them two on them.
They're 102 to 100.
A game-winning shot while being double-teamed by both Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, two of the best defenders of all time. Somehow the word clutch doesn't even begin to describe the greatness of Larry Bird when the game was on the line. But maybe a quote from NBA Hall of Fame coach, executive, and former player Pat Riley can explain. In an interview, when comparing Larry Bird and Michael Jordan's...
This is what I was going to say that I didn't say because I figured there was a good chance it was going to come up in this. I guarantee you, I know what's about to come out that mouth.
Clutchness. Pat Riley said this iconic quote, "If I had to choose a player to take a shot to save a game, I'd choose Michael Jordan. If I had to choose a player to take a shot to save my life, I'd take Larry Bird." As
that sorry, voice is going. That is an impactful statement. Like, think about that. You're a basketball coach. You've coached multiple teams. You're familiar with the NBA. You could pick out of anybody.
Pat Riley said this iconic quote, "If I had to choose a player to take a shot to save a game, I'd choose Michael Jordan. If I had to choose a player to take a shot to save my life, I'd take Larry Bird." As Larry Bird was on his last legs and Michael Jordan was starting his dynasty in 1991, Larry Bird mustered up enough strength to battle MJ again in one of the last great duels between the two.
Gamble came up with the steal.
Here's Bird. Yes. He was met on a switch by Jordan, and there 69, Chicago 67. Jordan eluding a triple team. Reggie Lewis. Larry Bird.
They talked about Jordan was just kicking off his career. Shit, 91, like coming into his prime or whatever. I was born in 91, and maybe because I was a 90s kid, growing up, like we had the movie Space Jam that came out. And I think once that movie came out, everybody looked up to Michael Jordan. Like Jordan took the spotlight. He took the limelight. Took a lot of people's hearts. That movie combined with Jordan being in the spotlight on the courts in the NBA and doing big things, I think that really helped his career a lot. That movie did. There'll never be another Michael Jordan. Never be another Larry Bird. Never be another Space Jam movie. But yeah, the movie was the shit. I think that really helped Jordan.
This battle between two all-time greats came down to the wire. In overtime, it was a tie game with 0.4 seconds on the clock, and the Chicago Bulls had the ball.
Pippen now will look to throw in. 0.4 of a second. And here it is, Jordan with the play. Yes!
Oh my.
Mathis said no. Did not beat the clock.
Ooh, he almost had it. After Jordan's possible game winner was waved off, Larry Bird, on 4 straight possessions in double overtime, did this.
Jordan.
It's great to hear all these coaches talk about they're really concerned as Bird hits a little fadeaway.
Right in your
They're really
face.
concerned about the minutes building up. They want to be fresh going into the playoffs until the game.
Overtime number 2. Bird. Yes. Larry Bird heating it out to go in the second overtime. Bird with the fake through the foul and hits. .45 to go in the second overtime. Bird fires. Yes. Grant is coming.
The crowd couldn't help but chant the name of the greatest player of all time.
Shook his head and said, this guy's too much.
And the chant of Larry. D. Brown beat John Paxson off the pitch. And the second overtime, and that will do it. The Boston Celtics in double overtime and defeated the Chicago Bulls 135 to 132 in a wild one.
The Celtics held on to win that game, but that year, Michael Jordan won his first championship versus Magic Johnson in the finals, and his dynasty had officially begun.
Larry and I would talk.
That's an iconic picture. I think we all have seen that picture and how much that meant to Jordan.
But that year, Michael Jordan won his first championship versus Magic Johnson in the finals, and his dynasty had officially begun.
Larry and I were talking, and Michael walks in, and he says, "There's a new sheriff in town." And we both hit each other like, well, he's not lying.
Larry Bird retired after that next season, but not before he took the court with Michael Jordan one last time. Except this time, it would be on the same team in what many would call the greatest team ever assembled, the 1992 Dream Team.
And rebounded by Jordan.
Perez may have realized that may be his best opportunity to get an open look in transition.
Patrick with the pass that misfired. Jordan with the behind-the-back save. Here's Bird.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
You knew that Larry Bird was not going to miss that shot after the great save by Michael Jordan.
Larry, I hear that you're retiring. Thank goodness. I'm glad. I'm tired of seeing your face. Brought a lot of sad memories to me, but I enjoyed you tremendously. I wish you a lot of luck, and I think you had a very wonderful career, even though you probably ruined a lot of my successful games against the Boston Celtics. And I'll see you somewhere along the road, somewhere playing golf.
even though he dropped 63, we stepped all in his ass, did we not? I rest my case.
Man. Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one. Who was that?
NBA Hall of Famer James.
All right, so that was by Prime Larry Bird. That was a really good little documentary. Yeah, can you imagine, like, you see those shots at the end, like with you know, they said the best dream team they'd ever assembled with Jordan, Magic, and Bird. Like, can you imagine if these dudes had all played on the same team? I mean, it's bittersweet in a sense, because what made the NBA so great back then was the fact that these dudes were on separate teams playing against each other, which made the rivalries, which made the excitement, which brought in the crowds, and which made the NBA into what it was, into what it became. Now, if they had all been on the same team, would that have been dope? Yeah, of course it would have been dope. You know, like those, they would have dominated. Like, there would have been tons of excitement there. I mean, watching those dudes, that would have been insane. But them being on the same team, I'm telling you right now, there's no other team that would have stood a chance. No, not with all them on the same team. But that's why I say it's bittersweet. Because the sweet part is, yeah, like they would have dominated. The bitter part is the NBA wouldn't have been as exciting as it was with them being spread out on separate teams playing against each other. It wouldn't have, I don't think it would have blown up. I think the NBA would have took a whole completely different route. I don't think, I mean, maybe it'd still be what it is today, but yeah, what made the NBA exciting was having them play against each other, especially Magic and Bird. You know, it's just, that's what shaped the history of the NBA. But yeah, so that was the best Larry Bird versus Michael Jordan story ever told, folks. Hope y'all enjoyed. And yeah, stay tuned, because we're coming right back with that courtship rivalry one. The Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. So, that'll do it. Catch y'all in a little bit. Ruckus Reacts. Thanks for tuning in. Hit that sub button. Hit the like button. Drop your feedback in the comments. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about this video. I'd like to hear your input on it. I think it's a good one. But, alright. Catch you in a bit. Doses.